Today we're going to focus on rescue. Down and dirty grabs that we're going to show you to be able to get the job done. We're going to try and stay away from webbing and stuff like that, just grabbing onto long bone and muscle. So to begin, we're going to start showing you some grabs. The reason of this training was just to try and show you guys to keep the head low of the victim. There was a recent UL study that was put out focusing on the survivability rate of the victim with their head a foot and lower compared to a foot to 3 feet or higher. Obviously, once you bring that victim up into the superheated gases and unburnt combustibles, their survivability rate drops significantly. So we're going to try and show you some grabs that reiterate just keeping their head low once you find them. So once we're doing our search and we come up to our victim, we're going to try and orient which side is their top half and which side is their bottom half. Again, we're going to sweep around them, see if there's not like a baby or something that was with them that they dropped once they went unconscious or whatever. Once we locate, we're going to try and standardize yelling out victim, victim, victim as like a mayday. You know what I mean? How it's just that 3-word prompt, nice and loud, nice and clear. And then my partner's going to show up once I say victim, victim, victim. And if I see that, if I could feel around that it's a patient that I can get the job done solely, then I'll just tell my partner, hey man, like just find me a way out, guide me out. And he'll continue with the radio traffic. The minute we find a victim, we go automatically to priority traffic. And we're trying to get away from that and spend the first minute or so that we find our victim trying to package them to get out. So if I can do it one man, then my partner is going to do that priority traffic and look for a way out. Some of the carries that we're going to go through are grabs. Real simple. If conditions permit and we're able to stay on our feet, we're going to try and cinch down as much as you can by their knee, and we're going to practice locking our grip like a gable grip, or we can try and like grab onto our own wrist if we can. And we're going to just try and secure that grip. We're going to try and take out all the space between me and the victim. We're going to try and get as close to them as we can, and we're just going to pull them out like that. And the more weight that you get off of the ground, the more of the victim that you get off of the ground, it's less friction, so it's much easier to pull them. So we can do the double knee like that. You can also cross their legs like so and come underneath by the knee. Again, we're trying to grab lung bone instead of trying to grab onto clothes, or in this case bunker gear. So we're just trying to get that firm grip and just pull them out. If we can stand up and pull them, great, we can move faster. But again, if we can't, if they're a little bit heavier, feel free to just do like a tripod, kind of like somewhat like a clamp slide but backwards. So just maintain that tripod position and just pull back and throw all your weight into it. If they're too big that their legs don't cross, get the inside leg and just throw it over your shoulder and just hug onto this outside leg close to the knee as you can, and do the same thing. If the victim's too big and I know I can't pull him out by myself, I'm going to tell my partner to grab one, and we're both going to go. Some of the grabs that we have for the upper part of the body, we can do the PAT carry, where we get underneath and do this. But again, like that's just picking up their head from the floor over the 1 foot like safe zone, I guess you could say. Something like that. If we were close to a door where like we're probably like 5 feet in the structure, where it's actually more beneficial to just yank them out as quick as you can, then you can do this grab. Same thing as the PAT. You're going to try and do a gable grip or lock onto yourself. If they're a little bit bigger, you're going to try just like a lift assist. You're going to try and just grab onto their arm and then lift them up and pull them out.
Even if you went 3 times faster, picking up their head into that heated gas environment, there's survival rate drops significantly. So even if you're a little bit slower with their head under that 1 foot barrier, their survivability rate is going to be much higher. The victim, that's for you and your partner to get oriented. Trying to reiterate, stay off the radio with that. It's, hey, you're orienting your partner. Hey, I've located the victim. You can radio traffic once you've removed that victim out of the structure.
If conditions allow, we could also come here, obviously, and then shoot them out that way, right? Probably a little faster this way, especially if we can both stand up a little bit. If we were to really cinch that foot into your armpit here, you kind of just be able to do it that way.
One thing we're going to try and stay away from is pushing and pulling partners. So we want both partners to get on the same side of the victim, each grab a limb, and we're both going to pull them out, rather than one victim at the legs pulling and I'm just here trying to push, because all my force that I'm trying to push is just going at a 45 angle into the ground, so it's just more friction. In a house, high heat conditions and everything, like carpet and stuff like that starts to melt and off gas and get really sticky. So we're just pretty much, I'm making my partner pull twice the amount of weight rather than me helping him getting the victim out quicker. So it's much easier to just get on the same side as him, grab a limb and pull.
Take victims out of windows and out of doors, no problem. Okay, so we really want to, scales of justice, right? It's taking a victim out this way we came in, dragging them all the way through all that crap, or, right, maybe finding another door, another window, something like that. Especially, right, if we're in an area where we can isolate. We can isolate an area, we can ventilate that area, that just buys us a little bit more time to get that victim out. Going in and out of windows, okay? It truly is a lot simpler than people think. What do we do 100 times a day, thousands of times a year, that we're lifting people off the ground? Lift assist. So it's pretty much, we're training lifting people every day, okay? So what we really want to do is kind of mirror that, okay? As soon as we get in that mindset of it, that it's a lift assist, right? Right, we can lift pretty big people up doing a lift assist. Okay. Take them down on the ground, okay? What's the first step of getting a lift assist done? We need to anchor what? Anchor their feet. We need to anchor their feet, okay? So if we're trying to get outside of this window, where do I want this feet anchored? Base of the window, right underneath the sill, okay? So, no matter if we started our drag with the upper body or the lower body, we want to try to get their feet down to the sill. We want to get their ass as close to the heels as possible and their toes up against. Yeah, these people are not going to be wearing bunker boots. Okay, they're probably going to be shoeless and their feet are be a little bit wonky, but if we anchor that as much as possible, okay, it's just going to benefit us in the future. Okay, if we don't have anybody at the windowsill, okay, we should not be waiting, right, for Rick or somebody else to come do this. Okay, we're coming in with a two-person search. Guess what? This is a one-person lift. So one person can dump out of this window and now be that receiving partner, okay, to get this person out of here. Okay, so we got their feet anchored. Step 2 of a lift assist is kind of like stabilize everything else, right? So their hands are pretty out and wonky. You want to stabilize hands, kind of get them out of the way. The person at the windowsill is going to reach in and just grab onto hands here, right? Once we get this person set up, okay? All that person's doing is getting those hands out of the way. Anything. Imagine this person being on a ladder. Do you want them lifting any weight? No. No, they're going to be dumping over that ladder. Okay, so basically they're just getting the hands out of the way, getting an area where this guy can come in, okay, get a good grip, keeping their chest close to their back, okay, and we want to go pretty much straight up or straight into this windowsill. Okay, we don't want to come back, up, boom. And if we need to capture progress, okay, all we're doing is putting a knee underneath their ass. Okay, now this person can reach over and pin him against that windowsill, meaning this guy can now readjust as low as possible underneath the hips. Okay, and the lift back up. And our goal is to try to get this victim's hips up on that windowsill, and they're not going to go anywhere. Don't worry about getting them a little bit too high. Okay, if their hips are on that windowsill, okay, they're not going anywhere. They can pretty much both let go, and not an issue. Okay. Once they're here, they're out of that window. Okay. Now it's just more of the technical part of this lift. Okay. So if you're out on this window, first story, second story, on a ladder, our hand positions matters. Okay. So we want, right, our hand closest to their head, right, on that side of that body to go under armpits. Okay. Both of them. So we really want to get underneath that armpit, right? Because if we put our hand on their neck, right, our unconscious people pretty stiff with their neck. No. Okay. Once we get that there, now we can start that technical part of the lift, getting them out of this windowsill. Okay. I have noticed that people keep coming down and grabbing their knees. Okay. As soon as you grab this victim's knees, their legs are going to lock out, and you don't have a lot of space to get them out this window. Okay. Start at the ankles. Reach down, grab their ankles, bend their knees up, and you can basically flip them over in one movement. So if Sanch comes down here, reaches down, right, one ankle or two ankles at a time, right, to get their leg over. Start with one leg through the windowsill first, so this person on that ladder or receiving can get that other arm in between their legs. Okay. Now the communication goes right to this guy, and he's calling. Okay, if he's not ready, don't throw this person out, especially on a ladder. Okay, if he's got it right, he'll tell him to bring his other leg over. And out, and we're moving. Okay. Ladders are not thrown in the middle of the windowsill anymore. Okay, we're splitting the window in half. We're either one side or the next. Okay, doesn't matter. Dealer's choice. Okay. One thing, but it does for us. Okay, if we need to dump in and out of that window, right, we have more space for our legs to be kicked over. Same thing with a victim. Okay, if we have a huge victim that we're doing this with, right, leaves us an opportunity to throw a secondary ladder in without having to move that first ladder. Okay, so it just gives us that space to do that. Okay, so that being said, if I have a ladder that's splitting a window in half, what side do I want that victim's head going on to? Ladder side or non-ladder side?
Ladder side.
Ladder side, right? Ladder side. The majority of that weight I want on that ladder side, right? It just kind of makes sense. We don't want the majority of that weight, right, to be off over. Okay. Once we get up on the ladders and you guys kind of see it, okay, it kind of works a little bit better. So if you're about ready to lift, a little bit of communication is like that guy on that ladder should probably tell them what side ladder side is if you don't know. If you didn't take a peek and look. Okay?
Person on the ladder, hands on the beams. Don't grab onto the rungs. Then you're readjusting rungs, you have a victim on your arms, right? On the beams, yeah, got it.
Super simple. We skid them up, same position, that person at the windowsill, same. grab it onto their wrists, okay? Me and Jake were able to get all the biggest people that we have. What you're gonna basically do is you have to squeeze and hug each other. I'm trying to hug my partner through that victim. Okay, you're gonna not have a lot of hand grip area, and that's why that squeeze is important to try to keep that friction going. You're just gonna lift.
Got him.
Same thing, pinch, lift again, get their hips on that windowsill.
Good.
Got him.
Good. Ready for leg two?
So it can. Coming down and you got your hands in the correct placement, that's why we were telling you guys not to keep your hands on that windowsill. Because if that victim comes out and they're stuck and you're trying to get them loose or whatever, topple down. You want your hands on the beams the whole time, okay? Ready? Yeah, you'll see him getting a little high, get those hands out. You see that right hand is down, he puts down, you see that's what I'm talking about, that little shoulder check. You kind of see that arm angle change. He's ready, tells his partner inside that he's ready. That partner's gonna flip those legs over, starting one at a time. One through, he's gonna get his other hand on that beam, and then he's ready for the next one. Golden. Okay, you see how his right arm's underneath both those armpits, kinda? Right? So he's going nice and easy. If he feels wonky or something happens and he starts to wake up, all you gotta do is hug. All you gotta do is do a hug, okay? And we're coming down nice and easy. Okay? 3, 2, 1. One thing we kind of glossed over a little bit, okay? Once we get this victim out, no matter what we do, how we get them out, window, ladder, dragging them out, okay? A lot of people take, especially our rescue dummies, take them, drop them, boom, and off and going, okay? We're that first level of care. If you have someone like unconscious, unknown, right, in a fire, what you drag them out, what should you probably start to do immediately? CPR probably, right? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, we can do that. Okay, that's where that radio traffic can come in. We can have people flooding over, right? But we are not passing out that victim until someone comes to us, not over the radio, to us, and receives that victim.